in not such huge fashion. Here we go. Bo Nix and the Broncos hosting the Raiders. This one wasn't pretty. First quarter, the rookie, Ashton Jeanty, on a 3rd and 2 in the scoring area. RC punches it home.
Ashton Jeanty gets a big hole on the pull. He finishes physically in the end zone. Talanoa Hufanga can't bring him down. This is the rookie they expected to draft.
Raiders up 7-zip. Now, Broncos on a 4th and 3. Watch this exchange. Bart, the Raiders are just laughing at them there, right?
I mean, we're grading on the curve, Greeny. I mean, Stevie Wonder saw that.
The fans are booing. Then here's a little Bo Nix extending the play for Pat Bryant.
Bo Nix has been best when he was using his legs. Hits the rookie from Illinois, gets down the sideline. Finally, a big play for Denver.
43 yards, and that sets up this. It's Troy Franklin. The Broncos in the end zone. We're tied up at 7. Going to halftime. Third quarter, not pretty. 2 minutes to go in the period. Raiders punting and not well.
Listen, Skinner has been balling on special teams the entire year. This is the break they need. This is going to get them going. They're going to score a ton of points in the second half.
Or at least 3 of them. A huge play from the special teams. But here is Nix, and look at this. The mechanics here are the problem. We'll show it to you again. Doesn't step in. He's got the man wide open.
Dan's been talking about this all week. He gets frenetic in the pocket. He's always on go. He reminds you of Russell Westbrook that he needs to be on 10. But this is a throw that Bo Nix has to make.
Fourth quarter now we go. It's a 3rd and long for the Raiders. Geno Smith-Peter taken down for the 6th time of the night.
Time and time again, this Denver defense covers up for that offense. Maybe this is what's going to fuel them to a championship run. I don't know if they can get by winning games like this.
They keep sacking the quarterback. Now the Broncos just need to hold on to the ball. RC, we can't have this.
This is a Bo Nix special. The ball goes right through the wide receiver's hand. Kelly's 2nd interception on the night, and Bo Nix walks to the sideline dejected because the Raiders have to score, right?
Should have turned into at least a game-tying field goal, but Daniel Carlson pushes it right. Pete Carroll can't believe it. And then mercifully it ended. Broncos take it by a score of 10-7, so they continue to win, but it sure hasn't been pretty. Here was Nix after the game.
What'd you think about some of their reaction, the boos and that kind of thing?
Well, I've been booed before and I'll be booed again, so not gonna be the last time. It's obviously unfortunate. You don't want your own fans booing you, but you know, it's part of it.
Yes, it is. Here's the reality of the situation. The Denver Broncos have the best record in the National Football League. They're 8-2. They've won 7 consecutive games, and they are not the favorites to win their division despite being 2.5 games ahead of Kansas City. And so let's talk about it. I'm interested to hear Fortenbaugh's perspective on these, but I'm just going to start with a question that I think most of America who watched that game came away asking. Are the Broncos good? They're 8-2. But are they a really good team?
Listen, we can't sit up here and say that they aren't a good team when you're 8-2. They sure as hell don't look like it.
Right.
Though, and if you watch games like the Eagles, the Giants, the Houston Texans, and then obviously the Raiders, you see for 3.5 quarters they aren't, but they have found ways to win. Peter mentioned this defense could be what fuels them to get to a championship. This defense is playing at a historic level when we talk about rushing the passer, what Vance Joseph can do. But you can't win with Bo Nix playing like this, with Bo Nix missing wide open targets, not making good decisions, not understanding, especially early in this game, when the legs can help him. Sean Payton is supposed to be able to figure out how to get a quarterback going. He hasn't quite hit the right button with Bo Nix, and that will be their demise.
You used the word sustainable, Peter, or not so this morning at our meeting.
Last night was the perfect opportunity to silence all these doubters because you have a hobbled and bad Raiders team coming into Denver. You're home on a short week. And it's like, all right, we know that we've played poorly, yet we've been winning games in the fourth quarter the last few weeks. Let's just put them to sleep. Let's just win this. And they played worse than they had against Houston, played worse than they did against the Giants, and they played worse than they did against the Jets. They win, and yet at the end of the game, we can't celebrate with Bo Nix at the Amazon table. We've got Riley Moss doing the postgame interview. I don't know if that is sustainable.
Peter, I don't take any Riley Moss slander. That guy has it bad enough.
I know.
You know, this is a team being held back by their quarterback. We just got to call a spade a spade. And I was in that London game, and it was horrible. It was hard to watch. They're getting away with smoke and mirrors, throwing a lot of balls behind the line of scrimmage. He's not accurate. He's not making plays down the field. field, and he's been held up by this defense. But that defense can only hold up so long. What happens if the defense has a bad day? Can he overcome it? Now, we've seen it happen one time, but it was a crazy chain of events in the Giants game. This isn't sustainable, and they're setting themselves up to be a one-and-done team.
Every single postseason in every single sport teaches us the same thing. Champions have multiple paths to victory. The Eagles could lean on Saquon Barkley right up until Spagnuolo tried to shut him down, so then they started throwing and playing defense. Oklahoma City will beat you with defense, or they'll come out and they'll drop 130 on your head. They can do it a multitude of ways. People aren't buying Denver because they can't do it offensively. They're a bottom half of the NFL team in terms of virtually every offensive metric, EPA, efficiency, you name it. So we can like them. We could say they're good. They're 8-2, but the only team they beat with a winning record is Philadelphia, and that's a problem.
Last night they block a punt, and it's like, all right, they're going to get the touchdown. They settle for a field goal. They get a big interception. They punt it. I asked the defensive players here, at some point, does that levee break where it's like, you know what, guys? Like, we're doing everything we can. I don't know if that's sustainable either.
As somebody who was on teams with great defenses that sometimes didn't score points, you have those conversations between yourself, but they never leak over into the offensive side of the ball because at some point, Ben Roethlisberger is going to throw a ball in the corner to Santonio Holmes, who's only going to have 9 toes down, and you're going to win a Super Bowl. That's what you feel. So you have to keep playing. The thing about Bo Nix is we watched him ascend late in the season last year. This guy threw for the most touchdowns of any rookie, and he's getting worse progressively every single week. And I think as the games go by and as the film is no longer hot, he's starting to press a little bit, and Sean Payton's going to have to remedy that.
Yeah, speak for yourself. I had that great defense, but I had my boy Kyle Bowler. It didn't work out so good.
Okay. With apologies to Mr. Bowler, wherever you're watching from this morning. Can we just sort of wrap up this part of the conversation with just a smile on our face? It's been a long time. Just do a one-off explain your tweet. RC tweeting last night, one thing for sure this year, you will not beat Denver in a can I say that word?
Yeah, you can say that thing.
Football game. If the game is cheeks, they are getting the W. The game is that game was
like,
cheeks.
They win the all-time assiest games, right? Like when you're watching the game and you're thinking to yourself, "Oh my God, these teams are setting football back." To the dark ages, Denver gonna win that game, right? Davis Mills got to be the quarterback for Houston. Oh, Denver gonna win that game. Oh, Jackson Darnell throw a little pig late in the game. Denver gonna win that game. Like
on the pitch in London.
When the games get bad and you want to cut the TV off, you can, because in the end, Denver's gonna get the W.
I'm using cheeks from now on. that is right. That game was cheeks, people. On we go to a fired up Friday. RC, we're looking forward to better games on Sunday. What are you looking forward to in Week 10?
Sauce Gardner versus Drake London. Drake London has been a talent that is starting to show on the field for the Atlanta Falcons. Last week, he was going on top of the heads of Patriot after Patriot, and now Sauce Gardner has been brought in with 2 first-round draft picks because the coach believed that they can win a championship. He's going to get a test on Lou Anarumo's defense Week 1.
I want to hear from Bart on Sauce a little later in the program, but let's get to you and your fired up Friday. What are you looking forward to this weekend?
For me, it has to be the Patriots and Bucks. I think we have 2 quarterbacks in this game that has been mentioned in the MVP conversation. I know it's cooled off with Baker Mayfield in the last weeks, but he's carried this team. When you talk about MVP, it's the most valuable player. I think Baker Mayfield still can make that statement. But on the other side, Drake, man, we haven't seen a lot of the Patriots this year, but if you have to start paying attention, especially after the win over the Buffalo Bills.
We'll dive deeper into that game as well. Joe, what are you fired up for?
Monster weekend for the best division in football, the NFC West. Arizona and Jacoby Brissett, who are noticeably better on offense since making the change at quarterback, travel to Seattle. They're catching 6.5. That is going to be a highly competitive football game. On top of that, you have the Rams and Sean McVay going to San Francisco to take on Mac Jones and the Niners. Of the last 14 meetings between these two teams, the underdog has covered the spread in 13. They play tight matchups. And oh, by the way, Rams versus Seahawks next week in a battle for the 1 seed.
Such a good division. Peter, give me one more fired up Friday.
Packers had a bad loss on Sunday, and I'm not even talking about the actual on the field. I'm talking about this guy. Tucker Kraft is playing like one of the best Pro Bowl tight ends you can imagine. He's out for the remainder of the year, it appears, and they're going to have to find a way to go on without him. He is George Kittle to that offense. He is that good. He is that important. He has been #1 target for Jordan Love. Now, what do you do without him in the lineup?
That's the question. The real Green Bay Packers, please stand up. You'll be there Monday night at Lambeau Field. What do you expect?
I mean, I talked to you guys about this on the call. If you tell me a team lost to the Browns, a team lost to the Carolina Panthers, and they tied with the Dallas Cowboys, I'm going to be like, that team can't win a football game. That team can't be a playoff team. Oh, wait, it's the Green Bay Packers. It's a team who we have seen at times this year be the best team in football. We remember how this season started versus the Detroit Lions. What's on the line Monday night to me for the Green Bay Packers is to prove that you are a true contender, to prove that you can play through adversity, but also stand up against the best of the best after not having a great week. Matt LaFleur understands that this team was put together, especially after the trade for Micah Parsons, to go win a Super Bowl. You have to win games like this against the team that sent you home last year.
I need to know if Jordan Love is elite. Like, we know he's good, but is he elite? We watched those highlights. He threw the ball into a team meeting.
Yeah.
You have to understand, when you get the football, you have the team's fate in your hands. And you talk about Jordan Love, like, now he's going to have to elevate and show us that he can be a force multiplier, because without Kraft, who I believe was the best offensive player on their team, the most versatile, he's going to have to step up and make some of these plays. He's going to have to develop some more of these young receivers. He's going to have to find a way to get Matthew Golden to play up to his potential. And for that, he's going to have to show that he's elite, because that's what the elite players do. When they lose people, everybody's dealing with injuries, they find a way to still get the productivity that they need.
In his case, sometimes he's great and sometimes he's cheeks. And so you were telling us this morning, I'm falling in love with that term. I'm going to overuse it the rest of the day at minimum. This is you're telling me this is a sneaky good rivalry.
Sneaky great rivalry right now, and might be an NFC Championship preview. You started the season last year in Brazil, and you lose to the Eagles on that surface, and you say, okay, well, it was in Brazil, it wasn't. Then you end the season, and it's in Philly, and you lose in the playoff game. And then in the offseason, if you guys remember, who proposed the ban on the tush push? It was the Green Bay Packers. These two franchises, they've had history. The Eagles have had the best of them, and I don't think they particularly love each other. So if you're the Packers, we're home. We're on Monday Night Football. Everyone's watching. I think this is the best game the NFC has seen this year so far. Company man. I would also say that this is a biggest opportunity for the Packers to show someone that, like, hey, we don't just show up some games. We're there, and we belong on the same field.
Packers are a slim favorite at home.
It was a 3-point spread. It's down to 1.5, so we've seen money on Philadelphia. The takeaway there is if you're only laying 1.5 at home, the other team's the better team. Philadelphia's rested 15 days to get ready for this game. Rare spot where you come off the bye and get the Monday night game. That's a big advantage for Philadelphia. To the point on Jordan Love, 44 career starts, including the postseason. What's his signature win? At some point, you have to have that, and this could be the type of game that sets that forward.
I'm convinced with a couple of things that we have seen in RC. Let's start with your beloved Pittsburgh Steelers. Are you convinced they can hang on to their lead in the AFC North?
Absolutely not. This team still has 2 games against the Baltimore Ravens, who are now healthy, who are now playing better on defense with the move for Alohi Gilman. And also, Lamar Jackson is healthy with all of his pieces, Ricard and Likely. It's going to be extremely difficult to hold on because the strength of schedule favors the Baltimore Ravens and not the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Steelers go to L.A. this weekend to play the Chargers. Bart, the Chargers, I feel bad. If this is not an appropriate thing to say, I feel bad for Jim Harbaugh. That was a championship caliber team. They lose one tackle, Rashawn Slater, before the season starts. Now they lose Joe Alt. Is that what do you think of this game here, Steelers at the Chargers?
I mean, I think the Chargers ultimately pull it out. I mean, because the Steelers, I think, are a little bit of paper champions. I mean, you talk about the games that they win. They get things that usually don't happen, 6 turnovers, but only win by 7 points.
Why is RC laughing?
I forgot you was a hater.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. I forgot you was a hater.
They call me Buck Nasty. I am the world's greatest hater, especially against a team that kept me from the Super Bowl twice. I hate you.
His resting linebacker face. How about the Ravens and the Steelers? What do the sharps have to say about that race?
The Steelers have the better record, but it plays into what we're talking about with Bart right there. I like that win last week against Indianapolis. Can you force 6 turnovers every single week? No. The Charger game. The fact that you're getting the Chargers inside of 3, you're not even laying the customary 3 for home field advantage there. I'd be looking to the Chargers.
Now, the other side of this, because in order to not believe in the Steelers, you have to believe in the Ravens. We were sitting here a week ago this morning. I'm not sure we believed in the Ravens.
Well, it was like the Ravens, they beat the Dolphins. You look at the box score last week, you say, oh, well, they're back. They did it all. The Dolphins went up and down the field on that Ravens defense in the first half. Now, they fixed things in the second half, but I haven't seen the Ravens put together a complete game yet. So I'm not jumping all in on, they're just going to win out. To Ryan's point, there are a lot of games left in this division. So before we just crown the Ravens because they won 2 games in a row and Lamar's back, let's give the Steelers the benefit of the doubt that, hey, they are in the driver's seat right now and they can play some good football too.
All right, let's get to the next one because this one I'm particularly interested in. It's come up a few times this week. Bart, are you convinced that Jaxon Smith-Njigba should be considered seriously in the MVP conversation? And before you answer, let me make sure everyone is aware of the numbers. If Jaxon Smith-Njigba plays all 17 games at the pace at which he is playing, he will break Calvin Johnson's single-season receiving yards record. Obviously, people will start yelling and screaming. Calvin Johnson did it in 16 games. Jaxon Smith-Njigba has an extra one. The point is, he could be headed towards 2,000 yards. Anything over 1,900 would be historic and spectacular, whether he breaks the record or not. Should he be in the MVP conversation?
I think he should, because also look at the success of his team, right? And look how he's elevated his quarterback. Now, you can say the quarterback's elevated him, but I think it could be said in the reverse as well. He's out there, and the organization took the controversial move to step away from DK Metcalf. And this guy's, stepped in and became one of the best and most explosive, receivers in the league. And he's only going to become more explosive because of the addition of Rashid Shaheed as well. So I think that, if he gets 2,000, I don't care if it's a 17-game season, because some records out there that is a 14-game season. Right. You want to talk about that. So listen, if he gets 2,000, he should be the MVP in my opinion, because no quarterback has really run away with it.
So I can share something that Randy Moss talks about all the time on Sundays. That what he's most impressed about is that Jaxon Smith-Njigba led the league in yards from the slot a year ago when they still had DK. Now he is going to maybe break this record playing on the outside. The completeness of him as a receiver is something Randy talks about all the time.
I think the funniest thing is when Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave and all those guys were at Ohio State and they said that Jaxon Smith-Njigba was the best player in that wide receiver room, we was like, oh, y'all just being good teammates. But now we're seeing it. I remember that Rose Bowl, he had over 300 yards and went absolutely crazy. I think the thing that's most surprising about what he has been doing is the dynamic and explosive plays. These weren't things I expected to see from Jaxon Smith-Njigba and Clint Kubiak's offense. But here's the thing. The only reason we're talking about Jaxon Smith-Njigba and not his quarterback is because it's Sam Darnold. Even in years that like Randy Moss goes crazy in 2007, it was about Tom Brady. That's why he won't win, in my opinion, the MVP.
You read my mind, because I was yelling and screaming then. Moss should have been the MVP at that time. And that's the reality. That's what elevated that.
I got
offense.
a chance to speak to Sam Darnold a couple weeks ago, and this is a cool analogy. He says when you play with Jaxon Smith-Njigba, he doesn't look the part. He's not Calvin Johnson or Randy Moss. He's going to sneak up on you. He doesn't talk the part. He's not a look-at-me guy. He plays like he's on figure skates. It's so smooth and it's so sweet. It's almost like he's a figure skater out there, and he's always open. This guy is special. Does he go for 2,000? I think everyone's going to be keying in on him.
MVP narratives need to be bulletproof in order to win. The problem for JSN is that, number one, they've got an elite defense helping them win games. Number two, Darnold comes over and the stats are up. Now, we can say what we want about Darnold. Minnesota's offensive production has fallen since he left, and Geno Smith with the Raiders has been a complete disaster. So the whole situation with the quarterback is going to hurt JSN's case.
But the difference is, name me the other great offensive player on the team with him. When you talk about Randy Moss, you still had Edelman, you still had Gronk, you still had other weapons. He's a one-man wrecking crew by himself.